In this video, I discuss the business model tool of Autonomous Database. Data analysts typically don't work directly against tables in a database. It's rare for the semantics of the data model to be apparent from the physical data structure itself. Instead, data analysts work against a semantic model. This is a layer above the physical data structure that defines its business significance. But not all business models were created equal. Most popular self-service analytic tools define the business model in the tool itself. A common problem with this is that different analysts, each with their own self-service tool, can easily define different and contradictory business models even on the same dataset. Oracle's approach is to push the business model into the database layer. There, it only needs to be defined once, which in itself is a great productivity boost. But more importantly, this promotes consistency. By sharing this common business model, all analysts get a consistent view of the business. A further advantage of defining the business model in the database is performance. A key insight is that business analyses typically access data at the top level. For example, rather than an individual customer's purchase of a particular movie last Tuesday evening, the data analyst might be more interested in consumption of a movie genre by a demographic segment of customers in North America last April. By automatically recognizing the hierarchies and defining them in the database, Autonomous Database can automatically compute and store these top-level aggregates. We call this materialization of aggregate caches. Now, because Autonomous Database knows about the hierarchies and knows about the existence of the aggregate caches, it can transparently rewrite queries to access the pre-computed aggregates rather than having to compute them on the fly. The result is exceptional performance, even with huge datasets, even with federated data sources. It all happens transparently, behind the scenes. All the end user does is to browse and access the data just as if it were all stored locally in the ADB, and just as if it were all stored at the lowest grain. I'll now demonstrate how to build a business model on the fact table that we created in the previous step. This table has the data for just Q2 of 2020, with the values for column day corrected. We say that we want to create model for table movie sales 2020 Q2. The tool is now inspecting the schema, trying to identify potential dimension tables that you could join to the fact table, and identify any hierarchies and measures in this data set. It's come up with a potential star schema design that looks quite promising. Now you see why the analyst wanted to save these data files for reuse in this quarter's analysis. Let's expand on each of these candidate dimensions. For each, we see its columns. And for demo purposes, these are obviously rather simple tables. Hovering over the relationships, we see the candidate join conditions. These look good. Now let's look at the candidate hierarchies. The first one comes from table countries. This hierarchy would be better labeled as geography. So let's override the default name. The tool has correctly identified the hierarchy of country within continent, so this looks good. Notice that the tool has detected a hierarchy from devices to form factors. We'll see how this is used in just a minute. Next, we look at this one, with a rather odd name, DayNum USA. I want this to be a day dimension, so again I'll override the default name. I'll remove the DayNum USA level by selecting that level and pressing the minus button above the hierarchy list. What I do want to do here is to sort days by the day number of the week, rather than alphabetically. Similarly for the months hierarchy. I'll provide a more appropriate name, caption, and description. I'll remove the level for month num. For the month level, I'll change this to sort by month number. Now we'll move on to measures, and immediately we see that two good candidates have been identified: sales and purchases. For each, we can specify the aggregation expression to be used, sum, average, etc. In this case, the default of sum is appropriate for both measures. Okay, let's create this business model. Here, on the card for the newly created business model, we can click on the three vertical dots for more details. I like to show the DDL, scroll through all this, and think how glad I am that I didn't have to type all that in. Maybe it's more interesting to do a quick and dirty analysis of this business model. Here we can build a simple pivot table. For example, viewing across customer segments the various form factors being used to watch movies. I'll stretch this table out a little so that we can see a bit more data. Here we see that the data is aggregated from consumption on individual devices to the broader category of form factor. Briefly, we have some additional navigation options here to take us directly to the catalogue or the Insights tool. Again, we also have these options here from the hamburger menu. In this case, though, we'll return to the Database Actions page. Let's review what we've seen in this demo, because a lot of value has been added in a brief period. The Business Model tool guided us through the automated creation of a business model on top of the data we loaded and cleansed just a few minutes ago. It automatically detected a star schema with a fact table and 4 dimensions. 2 of those dimensions, geography and devices, have hierarchies, which were detected automatically and enable the aggregation of data from country to continent and device to form factor respectively. The business model is implemented as an analytic view, but we didn't have to write any SQL to build that. We could even view the data through a quick and dirty pivot table.